a review of Tony Robbins Business Mastery. Hi, I'm Lucy Griffiths, and I love all things online, and it was such a pleasure to be part of Tony Robbins Business Mastery. I attended the online version of the program, and in the past I've always gone to Tony Robbins events in person whenever he's been in the UK. But for me, with juggling childcare with my son is autistic, I have found it more and more of a struggle to kind of try and be in the world of the event and also juggle life with him. And actually, it's easier for me to be at home, attend the events, but then also be able to pick up childcare duties and be present for my son. It does mean, and it did mean for me being in the UK, there is zero sleep. And so by the end of day 5, I was on my knees with exhaustion. But it's the price that I have paid for going to an event and being in the room, but also being able to be there for my son. And so if you can be in the room, I would say absolutely be in the room, because you have such an immersive experience and it's like amazing. Like UPW, when I've been in the room, it's phenomenal. But for me, getting to Florida, it's just, it wouldn't happen. So I'd rather say I'm gonna do it and make it work in my way, rather than it being, it doesn't happen at all. Tony Robbins Business Mastery, a review. Tony Robbins has changed my life. Like, I love the man, and he's not somebody who I was necessarily like, oh, I'm such a fan, I follow everything. I went to UPW 10 years ago and he changed my life. And I've got my story all about this. I'd love to share it. I really know the power of the way that Tony Robbins works, like his way of pulling off those limiting beliefs and layers that you have, unpeeling all those layers, and then crafting a new vision of yourself. I know it works. I know it works in a personal capacity, but I also know that it works in a business capacity. I know that he has enormous transformative power. And the thing with Business Mastery is it's looking at those limiting beliefs, but then also giving you different experts and different ideas of ways that you can make money and be as profitable as possible. And so I want to talk through some of that. So some of the experts were on online marketing, launching courses, launching a business, using video. These are all tools that I use, using video sales letters. It was really great to hear, different experts, lovely to hear their stories, their tips, their suggestions for you. Also talking about profit and how so often people are chasing these kind of big glory numbers, but they're not looking at the profit in their business. Like, what are your expenses and how can you trim the fat of your expenses so that your business is as lean and profitable as possible? And for me, I found that experience so useful because I went through a divorce 2 years ago. And so in going through the divorce, I had to be as lean as possible because I didn't work for about 6 months. So I've gone through that experience and I've gone through it the hard way. I really had to learn, we're going to slim this down, we're going to trim this, we're going to do this. And so in having that experience, I'd already gone through the process, but I found it was like having your dad in finance, your granddad, that kind of figure who is someone who they've been there and done it. And they're telling you, do this, make it simple, do this. And you go, oh, yeah, oh, great, oh, amazing. And so I found that really, really helpful. So I was doing the virtual event, and I'll talk about pros and cons in a moment. I was doing the virtual version because for me, I have an autistic child. It's very, very difficult for me to get on a plane, go to the States, spend like and be out of circulation for a week. Like for my son, that would seriously derail things for him. So I need to be here. And so it did mean that I was pretty exhausted, and I'm going to talk through the cons in a moment, but I was pretty exhausted. But one of the strengths that I loved about, despite it being online, was I loved having that connection with other people where we worked in teams and we had an idea for a project. And we came up with an idea so we had to kind of build a business around this idea. And I really love our idea. I love our idea so much to the point where I feel like I'm still holding on to that nugget of an idea, and I kind of want to turn it into a business. And so I'm not going to talk about it right now because I'm not ready to, but that was really powerful because I didn't go into the experience expecting to fall in love with this nugget of an idea. I was going into it thinking, oh, let's just meet some people and have fun. So that was so special. And those friendships that I created from that community, they're still friends and we still WhatsApp each other. So that's really powerful from the event. It's really a lovely way to meet people and connect. And you don't just connect on like, oh, I've got this problem, but you really connect because you're working with them in a team and you kind of jive off each other, and you've got that dynamic, which is really powerful. It wouldn't be possible for me. I've looked at Business Mastery for probably 8 years now, 6 years let's say, and it's just never been possible because of childcare. And so because of the virtual version, I was like, oh, I can do it. And so that is freeing, that's liberating. It means it's possible for you. So just because you feel like you can't be in the room doesn't mean you can't get an amazing experience from it. And I miss out on so many events because I can't be in the room. So what Tony does is create an experience even if you can't be in the room. And he does it in a really clever way because there are, the virtual coaches, you're in groups, and they've got the technology, they've created systems so that it becomes an immersive experience for you too, despite the fact you're not in the room. But for me, and this won't be the same for everyone, I was doing Tony Robbins. So Tony Robbins runs late. So he kind of runs from like, let's say the event starts at 10 a.m. EST and runs till midnight EST. And Tony is probably on stage from like, let's say 11 a.m. until midnight. And so for me, that was 2-3 p.m. in the afternoon, Tony comes on stage, until 5 a.m. in the morning, which was a bit of a killer to say the least. And then my son was waking up at 6 a.m. So I was kind of getting an hour. He'd come in and then I'd sort him out a little bit. He'd go and watch TV and I'd have another nap. And then I'd try and do an activity with him. So we'd do an activity like, go out, do something in the morning. And then in the afternoon when it started, I could then he'd be watching some cartoons. I'd have already prepared dinner, so we then would eat dinner, and so then I'd get him to bed, and by 9 o'clock I'd be like, oh, I'm just falling asleep. 8 o'clock I'd be putting him to bed, and then 9 o'clock there would be a break, and so I'd be like, and then I sort of stagger through some of the hours. Like some hours I was like, yay, I'm doing this, and then other hours I was just falling asleep. And so Donald Miller, like, storytelling super king, was doing a workshop, and it was incredible, but I found myself falling asleep, not because he wasn't brilliant, because he was, but because I was just so exhausted. And if you look in my notebook, I am like this. So that was tough, okay? That was very challenging about it. And so I'm a single parent, so I don't have someone to kind of be my backup. Whereas if you have a partner who can kind of carry the slack with, so you can get some sleep in the day, do that if possible, because that can make a massive difference to you. Like, obviously, if you don't have little kids around and you can kind of just be on Tony time and sleep in the day, you'll be fine. You can absolutely have a brilliant experience. But I found that really tough. That was the biggest downside. And so, you know, for me, I think next time around, I would possibly not go all in on the team activities. I would basically say, I'm going to go and have power naps in that time, rather than feeling like I'm going to do loads of work on the project. And then I can just be more focused for the activities and the kind of actually for the focus on my business. So that was definitely one thing I'd say, just for me and how I manage my time. But if you don't have those kind of challenges that I have, then, you know, that's not an issue for you. But I think if you are in Europe, allow yourself to have little power naps, because you need them. Okay. But it's such a brilliant experience. I would definitely do it again. And what I found really useful is then afterwards, I've got coaching sessions. So I've just had a coaching session today, and I found that really useful to really cement some of the ideas, the core ideas that I had, and how I bring them into the world. And so, you know, sometimes when you're at an event or you like your big thinking, you're like, yes, let's do this thing. So for me, it's like, yes, let's do a mastermind. But then the gremlins creep in. It's like, oh, can you really do that? Oh, are you sure you can do that? Oh, I don't think anyone will come. Oh, no one's going to want to know. And so all of those mind monkeys that I have playing in my head means that I can overcome them with the help of a coach. And so, you know, whatever you have going on, whatever that vision is, that big plan you have, you can have the benefit of the coaching that comes with it to help you overcome those mind monkeys and do whatever you have planned. And so you can take your business to the next level. So you can do all of those incredible things and really make a massive transformative difference in your business and the way that you show up. I really, really, really recommend Tony Robbins Business Mastery. Check out the link below to have a look at it, see what you think. And if you like this video, I would love you to subscribe. I share loads of tips and strategies about growing your online business and building a life you love. So hope to see you again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, bye, bye.